Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours over the last 20 years to Italy, Spain, and soon Napa. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our second season, and our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture to all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. So sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Welcome, everyone, and thanks again for listening to our podcast, Inspiring Living. Welcome to Season 2, and today our podcast features the debut of Your Iconic Life magazine's Iconic Haus 2, designed by, of course, Candelaria Design, built by TMAC Development, and featuring the interior design of over 20 top designers from not only Arizona, but from across the country. You can tour this year's Iconic Haus starting tomorrow online. Stay tuned for the link. You will love it. So in this podcast, I'm a guest, and Renee D is the host, and we are doing a pod simulcast, so you can catch the podcast also on Renee's Your Iconic Hour podcast, so stay tuned. So first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving from all of us at Candelaria Design and from the Candelaria family. I am blessed to be joined today with my wife, Isabel, and my daughter, Tiffany, and her boyfriend, Josh. Welcome, guys. How are you guys? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, happy Thanksgiving.
Hi.
Well, geez, that was a good introduction. Hey, you got Chai. I forgot to introduce Chai. The dog is here, too.
She says hello.
She's chomping at the bit to get on the microphone.
Yeah.
She has a lot to say from the ancient voices, right? I don't think she's going to say too much. But anyway, we had a great Thanksgiving today, didn't we?
It was so great.
Yes, absolutely. The turkey was perfectly smoked.
Perfectly smoked. And then we got in the fire pit and... the fire pit. We got in the spa. Yeah. We haven't got in the fire pit yet.
We became perfectly smoked.
I think, yeah. It was a Traeger day like I've never seen before.
Everyone got real crispy.
Yeah, a little crispy out there. What do you think, Isabel?
I think it has been a wonderful day.
Wonderful day, hasn't it? And you did a really beautiful blessing at the table tonight. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's from the book, The Sous Chef. I can't think of the author right now, but it's based on Native American blessings, the feast to honor those that can't be with us, either in the physical or they're not born yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the book right there, isn't it? Yeah. Who's the author? Tell us that, because that is really a cool book. Sean Sherman with Beth Dooley. Check that book out. It's really cool. Put it in the notes, because that was a great prayer, wasn't it, Tiff?
Yeah, it was really neat.
Really nice. So, yeah, we didn't get in the fire pit right after we read that, but it took us a little bit of time. So, the Iconic Haus opens up tomorrow virtually. What do you think about that? You've been there a couple times now, Tiff. What do you think?
Yes, I went to the designer preview Tuesday. It was so cool. I love how all the rooms are different, but they're cohesive. They all work together. So they did a really good job of overseeing everything. And
so this podcast was spearheaded by none other than Renee D of Your Iconic Life magazine, and she put this whole virtual tour together. It's quite amazing. And then the podcast was shared between me and Tim McCormac, the builder of TMAC Development, and we had a good time on this podcast. So stay tuned, give it a listen. We'll have a lot of fun, and then definitely tune into it. So we will also be auctioning off 2 private and exclusive Spanish-themed dinners at the Iconic House that I will prepare and serve with all the proceeds benefiting Phoenix Children's Hospital. So stay tuned for that. I can guarantee you those will be 2 special evenings. What do you think, Tiff? You've been just trying to find the dates to make those happen.
Yeah, it's going to be the last weekend that Iconic House is open, so the 12th and the 13th.
12th and the 13th. Stay tuned for that. We'll be doing some cooking. So Thanksgiving is a pretty special holiday, don't you think, Isabel?
I know it's your favorite.
Definitely my favorite for sure. And we had fun today, didn't we? We did some cooking. We did some resting. We just basically chilled all day today. Josh, what did you think?
I think that it was a great
Great
place,
experience.
a great place to come back to your family.
Yep.
Where you just kind of settle down and you go back to the things that you're thankful for.
That really, really, truly matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cook food,
And
hang out with your family.
And you guys cleaned up while we took a long nap. How nice was that? Now, that's what I call a really good Thanksgiving. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. Well, thank you for you guys for spending that whole afternoon and day with us. We had a good time.
Thank you for cooking. It was so good.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure you check out our spectacular 14-page spread in the new holiday edition of Phoenix Home and Garden magazine, just hitting the newsstands, featuring one of my favorite Candelaria design homes that my partner Vivian Ayala and I designed in the middle of an 80-acre lettuce field in Yuma, Arizona, over 10 years ago. This is a 14,000 square foot house where we designed everything down to the mouse houses in the baseboard. And trust me, these are not just any mouse houses. They are tricked out by miniature artists June Klingsdale and Chris Toledo. They are over the top, so check this house out. Tiff, you've been down there. What do you think of that place?
Oh my gosh, I had to spend the night. I was there to film and photograph with Julianne, and we had to spend the night because it is just so intricate.
And Isabel, you're doing some of the interiors there now, too.
Yeah, we've been helping Jane out, kind of freshen some things up and, change out some furnishings and whatnot. So she's such a blast.
She's an amazing lady, and they've been on our Spain and Italy tour. They went on an Italy tour in 2009 and then came on our Spain trip in 2019
with their whole family.
With their whole family, both times. So quite a special family, that is for sure. So then from ultra-traditional in Yuma to super modern contemporary in Paradise Valley, you need to check out our cover feature in the November-December Lux magazine featuring a stunning Candelaria design home built by Schultz Development with masterfully designed and decorated interiors by designer Anita Lang. Check out her podcast in Season 1, Episode 40. This home won Best of Show 2020 by the Arizona chapter of the American Society of Interior Designers. And when you check out the Iconic House, check out the master bedroom, also decorated by Anita. Okay, I want to give a big thank you to all of you who have been listening to our podcast as our listeners keep growing nicely. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews. Remember, the first review we get dated November 26th or later will receive a free Candelaria Collection pasta maker, so give us some love on those ratings and reviews, and make sure you direct message or email me that you post the review so we can get your pasta maker to you, okay? We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course with our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, this is a very special day and a very special podcast. In fact, I already have goosebumps. This is going to be very heartfelt. So we are here at Iconic House with architect Mark Candelaria and builder Tim McCormac. And architect Mark Candelaria has just had the opportunity to walk through this house that he has designed along with Vivian Ayala for the first time. Mark, what do you think?
Oh my God, it's amazing. So last time I was here, it was just drywall. I think you guys were just starting drywall. And then I knew this was going to happen, and I purposely stayed away because you watch those shows where it's the big reveal. Yep. Well, I finally got that treatment, and I'm blown away. This is so amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm loving it. It's like I don't want to leave. I want to go just hang out at that bar for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh, the bar here is awesome. It's so comfy. So Tim, you just built a house that the architect, a very important architect, by the way, just said that he's super impressed by. So how are you feeling about the grand reveal?
I'm feeling great. I've been waiting probably close to 20 years to finally work with Mark. This is our first project together, and when we first met, I told him I was driving up and down Exeter, and I have this really big, huge lifted truck, and I can see over the fences and what the houses really look like. And I was like, wow. I looked him up, and I was like, wow, I'm going to build with this guy someday. And it's just been a lifelong achievement to get here. It's my own development with Mark, and it's just great to be doing this at this level together, and couldn't be happier.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Well, you guys know that I just can't stop talking about Iconic House. And so week after week, I've been talking about it. And so we are finally here. And I am here to say that I am blown away by this house. The design is stunning. The Mediterranean approach is fantastic. And the other thing is there's a lot of things throughout this house, and I'm going to talk to Mark a little bit about this as we go, but there are certain design elements of this house that really resonate with me as just being super logical. And logical sounds really cold, but you know what logical is to me in a house? It's living beautifully. It's how things should be. It's the flow of how things really work together. So I'm really excited to be here in this house as well. And I've been watching, so Mark stayed away for a while because he wanted to have the grand reveal, but I've been in it for the last couple of weeks doing photography and things like that. And I saw it transform from plastic sheeting and painting just a couple of weeks ago to this spectacular, beautifully finished, gorgeous, and amazing home. And then, of course, the designers came in and they had their way with the house, and it's just brought it alive. But I feel so comfortable and happy in this house. Like you, Mark, I never want to leave.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about any surprises for you as you're looking through the house, things that you didn't... Is it exactly what you imagined? Are there things you like better than you thought?
Well, I think what has been a real pleasing surprise to me was, I think when we did the podcast several months ago, and when we had the initial conversations about this project, you know, my concerns with these show houses where you get, you know, I don't know how many designers you got, 13, 14 designers.
20.
20, okay. 20 designers. Well, this just proves my point that I'm going to make. I think what's so amazing is the synthesis of everything, and they're all different, but there's an overall underlying theme of continuity that permeates throughout the house, both inside and outside. Because I know some of the designers did some of the outside spaces, and that's really one of the key components of this house is the indoor-outdoor living.
Yes.
And I just it's fun to go from room to room and get the surprise, but it all makes sense together.
It does. So it's interesting, too, because on this particular house, we told the designers that it was a Mediterranean design.
Yeah.
So we basically gave them Mediterranean. We gave them modern. There's a lot of room around that sort of theme, but we didn't give them any further guidance than that. And of course, we reviewed all the designs before they came in. But I am fascinated by the interrelationships of some of the selections throughout the house, where we've got
it all works together.
You know, indigenous people. We've got very Americana. We've got very spiritual. There's a vibe that kind of goes across the whole house that was never discussed, that just sort of showed up.
Yeah, it's neat. I love it. And to get back to what Tim was saying, you know, it's a real honor to work for Tim too. His enthusiasm and his commitment to getting things done, and he's just a can-do type of guy. And, you know, with my name, Candelaria, it's not Candelaria.
Yeah.
I love people like this. Yeah. So to me, this is just the start of what's going to be a long, long marathon of amazing projects is what I see.
Yep,
so
I believe so
I'm
too.
I'm super excited.
I think so too. I really feel, so one of the things that I'd like to say, because this is going to be a little love fest for our builder today, is to say that, you know, when you do a designer show house, sometimes the biggest hurdle that you have, or the biggest stumbling block, is the builder, the guy who knows very well how to say no, no, no. And so from the very beginning, both Tim and Tracy, lead designer on this project, both were truly amazing about how can we say yes? How many times can we say yes? How can we make it happen? How can we make it work? And that really makes for a great collaboration. And I've heard nothing but just great things from the designers too. So
Thank you. It's all about a team and putting one project together and putting something amazing together with everybody, and having fun. I mean, we all know how much stress it is to put something like this together. And every time they ask me for something, I'm like, I'll get right on that for you. Let me take care of that. So it was actually fun for me. I just kept telling people it's like building a restaurant. You just have 200 people here for 2 weeks to wrap it up, and that's just basically what happened. So it was no stress on me or my staff, because we're used to it when we build the big restaurant franchise stuff.
This guy's sitting with a sling in his arm.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
But you just had surgery, what, yesterday?
Yesterday, yes.
Oh, yeah. No stress.
So I was going to say, so Tim, you've never appeared to be stressed out, and anything that's happened, any delays or any obstacles or any things that you weren't expecting, it seems you're like, okay, well, let's just fix it. Let's just solve it. I mean, I've seen you be very calm and accommodating. And I think that this is a very big moment for you and a big time. And of course, last week, a tree branch did you in, and now you're in a sling, and Tim had surgery yesterday, and here he is at the house looking like he looked 2 or 3 days ago.
Younger.
Well, you know what? You've just been so committed to the project, which is great. But that says a lot about you as a builder, that things won't hold you back and that you're committed to fulfilling this dream of building a home like this, which is beautiful, but making sure that it's spectacular in every way. So what are you most proud about with this house?
I would say my subs, my team pulling it off with me. I mean, in the middle of COVID. This is probably the end of month 9 of construction for us to here. So they're used to my stress. They're used to the T-Max schedules. They tend to complain a little bit about it, but they all got through. They all got us to our final inspection. They got us open. We got everything done. And then it's just punch phase and clean up and then off to the races.
So we've been saying, the next designer show house was really supposed to happen next spring. And when I started talking to Mark about this back in early January of 2020, before 2020 happened, by the way, this was back when life was normal. It was normal back then. And I was talking to Mark about Iconic House. And so we were looking at this house to make a selection for this house to be Iconic House, which this was the perfect selection. And I really wanted it to be in the spring. We're like, you know what? Tim is cranking. I mean, he is just on point. And cranking does not mean rushing. Rushing is a connotation I don't want to make. On point, on schedule,
Efficient.
moving forward, efficient. And so the house was done earlier than I was thinking that it would be done. And so that's just a testimony to you and your organization.
Yep, absolutely. And I always had the confidence in him, just basically being around him and seeing what he does. And I was just excited about having this open and being virtually available to everyone during the holidays. Because I think, we're still not over the hurdle on this whole COVID thing. And I think I think the timing could not be better to have the virtual event that you planned for. You planned for the worst case scenario in terms of the COVID, and here it is. Just as we said, let's plan for the worst. And it's going to work out. I think it's going to be excellent where people can sit at home during the holidays and go through this house, see the beautiful. I mean, think of people. What's great about the virtual element of this is I can be in Philadelphia, freezing my butt off, and going through this virtual house in beautiful, sunny Arizona.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and the launch of this house next Friday
Yep.
on November 27th is perfectly timed for people to be just getting over their Thanksgiving turkey coma and have the opportunity on Friday when they're looking for things to do. We won't be out shopping. There's no Black Friday, to be able to live beautifully and to be able to really take their time and savor the beautiful design of this home, the architecture, the interior design, the construction, and everything. So the timing's absolutely perfect, and so it feels like a great gift.
Yeah. So I've got an idea for you. I mean, you're probably already doing this. But what I was wondering is, with the virtual thing, is there a way that I can, like, if I go through the virtual tour and I see this fabulous chair or bed by Anita Lang, can I click on it and buy it right then and there?
Okay, Mark. So you're a big thinker. So this is how.
Because I could see my wife and me just going through click, click, click. Oh,
Yep.
Okay, that added up to $25,000 in no time. Yeah, but we didn't have to go anywhere. And look how much fun it was. Boom.
Exactly. So that is the future vision of Iconic House, exactly that, to be able to shop and purchase everything that you see. There's a lot of back-end technology behind that, a ton. And so we haven't quite pulled that off yet, but we do have our app, which you can download from the App Store, Iconic House, Haus. And so our goal is that app is going to have that interactive nature to it on whatever's going to be the next Iconic House. And maybe we'll go back and we'll retrofit this house with some of the designs, because none of these iconic houses will go away. They'll stay on the website. But I would love to be able to create that. We got an estimate of about 18 months to get that functionality done when I asked my web developer about 2 months ago. So we'll get to it. But it's a great idea. But I will say this. on the website, iconiclife.com, every designer is given every single resource. And so you've got a link to every single resource. We've linked all those. So in a lot of places, you will be able to click through and land in somebody else's shopping cart. So I encourage all of you, if you see stuff you like, track it down, get back to the designers. They have worked so hard on this house, and buy it through them.
Absolutely. That's perfect.
I agree.
Yeah. So Tim, what would you say have been some of the surprises for you in working with building this house and working with Mark, and what would be some of the things that you thought that just went just how you thought they would go?
Just working with the staff was amazing. The design, he knew I wanted a builder set of plans. He has a great spec format set up for us builders. And I think it took us 3 meetings and we had our design dialed. 3 hand drawings, and then we went to CAD after that, and then we were off to the races. And I think we're on Joshua Tree now. I think we're going to be on our 2nd or 3rd, and probably not far away with our next spec house. But that was probably one of my favorite scenarios, was going through the design process with their team, going to their office, just going through the entire design experience was just top notch.
So I just want to say that, the lady in my crew who made this happen is Vivian, which you mentioned at the beginning.
Yes.
And Vivian is just absolutely amazing. She's the hardest working person I've ever been around. We're having our little open house here, and I know she's going back and cranking probably till midnight or who knows what. But she's fun to work with, lots of energy, and I know she's teaming up on these new ones, and I just think it's going to be fantastic. What we learn is every time we work with the client and we get to do a 2nd or 3rd, it's like bandmates. You get on the band and you get on the stage and you just start jamming. So for us, it's like, okay, that was fun. Let's do the next one. So we're really excited.
Well, and so more than I think almost any architect I know, you are a guy who's got a lot of repeat clients. You've got clients that say, we enjoyed it this time, we want to do more. You've also got clients that are buying the homes of other clients. They're leaving their house and they're going to buy another Candelaria as opposed to just another house.
We've had pod swap, and now we've had house swap.
Yeah, you're the leader of the client house swap situation that people are buying each other's houses. And so gosh, I think I've got to leave this for Tim. What do you think is so special about a Candelaria design house? And obviously it's Mark and in this situation with amazing Vivian on the project as well. But what do you think it is about a Candelaria house that makes them so sellable and collectible and repeatable?
I would say the spaces, the way that the houses look, the curb appeal. When you do get a long wide lot, like we have here where the house just keeps going, it just keeps going. The curb appeal is my favorite, and the way that the boxes flow, the way that the entertainment section of the home is centralized. It pulls everybody from the kitchen to the outside bar to the pool to the barbecue to the dining room, and then back around. So the central entertainment section of the home is what I think is the best part. And then you have the guest wings, the master wing on the other side and the guest wing on the other, and it's just a perfect flow.
I agree. So I was really noticing this when we were shooting video of this house, and so we had 2 models here, and they were the pretend homeowners, right? So we were living a day in the life of Iconic House with the models, and it was interesting. The flow from the house, all I could do is just imagine what it would be like to be living here, because it all made so much sense. As they were moving throughout the house, there wasn't anything awkward. It was just supernatural to go to the kitchen and the great room. And the bar is spectacular that opens to that great outdoor entertaining. And so it really is, it feels very livable to me.
Yeah. Well, what we try to do is when we design a house, we kind of think of it in terms of 2 scenarios. You've got the scenario of everyday living, getting up, getting your coffee, getting the kids off to school, that whole way of living. And then you come home. Now, some of us never leave now, but
right.
which I think is not going to change entirely. So you got to think about how you use the house during your business day, and then how you use the house when you're entertaining. And it's finding that perfect balance of those 2 that I think makes this house really encompasses that, I think. It really has that nice balance.
It does. It has a really good feel to it. And the other thing is, you started designing this before COVID, obviously, but Tim and I were talking about it. This house has, did we count 3 or 4 offices? So for people, Yeah, so for people, three offices. So there's a main office, which is great, which has the Crestron home time for great communication.
Yep.
There's an office just off of the kitchen area where there's more privacy there. And then in the kids wing, which we're utilizing as a guest wing, there's another place for officing. And so voila, the perfect scenario.
You have that command center right off the kitchen. Cookbooks, computer, quick stuff, notes for wife, chef. That's the real office. Mm-hmm. And then you have the office that we're sitting in here, which is the second office.
The beautiful office. Well, the command center is the heartbeat of the house because everything launches out of there. But when you think about the spaces that people are starting to ask for more and more again, as we've gone through this interesting 2020, a lot of office spaces.
Yeah.
Is
for
great.
kids, adults, everyone needs a place to Zoom,
Yeah.
And the other thing that I like about this particular style, and it's becoming very, very popular and very requested, is this, like you said, this Mediterranean style. It casts a much wider net than just Mediterranean or just contemporary because it bridges a wider gamut, and it really allows you to virtually do anything,
Yeah.
And what's nice is I think another thing that's come out of this whole COVID thing is everyone is home. They want to feel safe. They want to feel like they are in a home. And so they want these nice materials. They want the warmth. They want the light. They want all these things that make you feel like home, not all the stark contemporary. We love doing that, but I just think this gives you the best of all worlds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think from a buyer's standpoint, I think this is going to be great. I think you're going to have a much wider net because of that.
It's interesting. I was wondering when the designers were making their selections in this house, where it was going to go, right? So before people start turning in their designs, it's like, what direction are they going to go? And a word that I don't often use, I feel like we've even got some real elements of traditional going on here with modern accents because it feels very timeless to me. And sometimes at the show house, you can end up with trendy things. And this house feels like if somebody bought this house with all the furnishings inside, one, they all seem to relate to each other, but two, they would still look good years later in here. Do you think that too?
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things is just, we're always striving for that timeless. Even if we are doing a very ultra contemporary home, we want it to have that timeless factor. And that's the hardest style to achieve that in. Whereas this I think gives you a really good ability to achieve that long-term timelessness. One thing I wanted to find out is, and I've heard it, a little bit from a few of the designers that I've been in contact with, what was their reaction to this house? Just out of curiosity.
It's very interesting. You know what? I think that there was a lot, they very quickly gravitated to the modern portion of the Mediterranean. So they all quickly grabbed modern concepts and ideas. And so that was probably one of the first things they came up with. What I heard from a lot of people is that they thought that the rooms really flowed well and that they also liked that there were defined spaces. So it wasn't just so wide open where you feel like you're in this big cavern or this big cave and you don't know where to go. So that they really felt like it made sense. I've heard a lot of great comments about our beautiful grand hallway. I think that's a great asset of the house and all the windows and doors that go down. So I've heard great accolades about that too. And I know people have been really liking the indoor-outdoor components, that so many rooms and so many spaces go back to the outside.
Yep, the groin vaults and barrels, and then coined with the cove lighting. I put LED lighting on everything, everywhere I could possibly put it, just the lighting. And we did do the Circa. We worked with Circa very closely on all of the lighting, and we got one of their light designers as well. We got the upgraded Introna can lights as well, so a lot of the rooms don't have your typical spec can lights.
Oh, it's very elevated lighting in this house. Very elevated lighting, including, just like you said, the lights that are in the ceiling.
Yep.
So one of the things I'm curious about and really excited about is one of the things that we like to do when we finish a house is we love to come cook in the house. So I think you've got some things up your sleeve on that too, don't you?
Oh, you know what? Mark Candelaria is a podcaster himself, and he's so good. And I'm one of his biggest fans because I never miss one of Mark's podcasts. And I like it when Mark interviews me on my own podcast. It's awesome. So just to let everybody who's listening know, so Mark has so generously offered to underwrite a couple of dinners in this house for 10 or fewer people. So Mark would be one of your 10. You need the amazing chef. And Mark is talking about doing some of his favorites, including paella, which I can never get enough of. And so this house, where it all began was as a fundraiser for Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Yeah, fantastic.
And so during these COVID times, because we're not doing public tours through the house, that's really the big place where we earn money for the hospital. And so Mark was so generous to say, hey, look, I want to make sure that the hospital, gets something out of this. And so Mark has volunteered to cook 2 dinners. We've priced those dinners at $10,000 a piece. And so you can get your pod, your trusted group of friends together to come out here for dinner. Just call me if you want to be one of the 2 dinners. It's a very special opportunity to dine with the architect in a house that he's designed. And for a great, great cause.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And by the way, you will not be disappointed. The food will be amazing.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it, and we're going to pair it with some great wines and amazing evening. And so you'll have the ability to have this entire house to yourself. It'll be lit beautifully.
Yeah, how fun is
Mark
that?
Candelaria cooking for you. So those who are listening, call me, Renee, 480-330-3737. First come, first serve.
Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you for doing that.
Let's have some fun. I mean, that's what these houses are about. They're about living, and that's what we always say. And you say live beautifully, and my thing is inspiring living. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people forget. They think, let's just create a floor plan, but they don't think about the scenarios in the way that you can really enhance the way you go through everyday life. And these houses become the stage for doing that. And it's just like, when you get to experience one of these houses, it does change the way you live. It forces you to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and this one just has so many opportunities to have a good time. When you think about even the dinners that you're going to be doing, we've got a welcome patio where people can be received for champagne. There's a fantastic bar backyard patio with a fireplace, which is a great place to have a cognac or a bourbon later, have dessert, the beautiful dining room. Bring your piano. We need the piano here. We've got an incredible sound system thanks to Monarch AV and Crestron. And so just so many ways to enjoy this house, and our beautiful kitchen with Viking range, which is going to be incredible.
This home key thing, that's pretty cool.
Home key is very cool.
Yeah.
This thing, everybody has a homeowner's manual, right? When you build a house at this scale, it ends up being 4 3-ring binder books that are 6 inches thick. I mean, it's almost a nightmare putting them together. The Home Key guys have taken every design, because my wife Tracy puts together such a great procurement schedule. They basically just take the procurement schedule and the plans and the interior design and all of everything we install, and they put that all into one format, and the homeowner can click on the entire house, every room, every tile, every grout color, every paint color, everything is listed on the entire house, and it basically just takes your warranty book out of the entire equation.
Well, it takes that drawer in the kitchen.
The huge drawer.
Yes,
it does.
Now it's on your phone. Click.
Well, and so speaking of that app, so the app reminds you on maintenance, right? So I'm the world's worst human being as far as changing the filters in the air conditioning. Oh my gosh. So the app actually alerts you when it's time to change filters, when it's time to do other regular maintenance on air conditioning, all sorts of different systems to the house, and provides you with the resources too. And then if you sell this house, I always think that's interesting. When you sell the house, and people are like, well, what paint color's on the wall? Nobody knows. Go in the garage, look for some crusty old can. Everything that's used in this house is spelled out in the app. So the next person who gets the privilege of living in this house will know everything that's here.
With pictures of the room.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a great app.
And I think we are the first custom home to be on that platform. They're with a lot of the bigger home builders, and they've got some good speed going. I couldn't be happier, because it usually takes our office staff a month to put the book together. Now we have these guys.
Yep, it's great. I think you are the first custom home to be on Home Key. So Home Key is one of the sponsors of my app as well, and so you guys will be hearing more about Home Key as well. So I want to ask, we did mention about the kitchen, and we're going to wrap this up here in just a second, but Tim, what's up with the range? Viking range, tell the story. I know the story, but tell us the story.
Yes, we have one of 100 Viking rose gold ranges, and we actually, Tracy, my wife, and I designed the entire house off of the range. It's matte black and rose gold, and the rose gold accents go up into the hood above. We had a beautiful handmade hood by Horn Metalcraft, and matte black cabinets and shiny. So we use kind of a combination of shiny like mattes and shinies is kind of a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did that on a Cadillac I built. It was matte black and gloss black, and it's now moving into my houses with the same colors. But it was great to design a house around one range, and the range just is amazing.
It is incredible. It's literally like a piece of artwork in the kitchen. It's got a lot of vibe to it with the rose gold knobs and everything. It's incredible. So I want to ask both of you one last thing before we wrap up. So what do you think, any other favorites that you want to make sure that as people are going through some of the home tours, either on iconiclife.com or the print edition of Iconic, what do you want people to really notice about this house? I want to hear from both of you guys.
Well, I think again it's the style. I think it's a fun style that it bridges the gap between contemporary and traditional. I think the indoor-outdoor aspects of how we all like to live in Arizona is really critical and beautiful in this house. And I just think the underlying spirit that I get from being in this house, and that always comes. It's like cooking. You get the ingredients and it comes together and makes this great recipe. It's the same thing. The people that were involved in this all put their heart and energy and soul all the way down to the designers, and you can feel it. And it's just, it's always fun to be around that kind of energy.
Yeah.
I agree with Mark. One of the things that I wanted to bring back was black, and the use of black and different shades of black, like all of the interior doors, is that black tie. And it's not black, but it has a hint of gray in it, but you can pair those with so many different colors moving through the house. To where it gives it that kind of Mediterranean contemporary, warm contemporary, and timeless look. I mean, that's how Tracy and I, my wife, designed. The true core colors of the house was timeless, and I think we've nailed it on this one.
I think you've nailed it too. I think it's absolutely stunning. It feels timeless to me as well. And I just want to reveal to everybody who's listening to this podcast, I am so grateful to Mark, who's been just a wonderful friend and client for so long, Tim, who's a new friend and client, but also just great, amazing partners. And the word partner is really important as a distinction, because partners are people that lift you up and support you and help you to be better. And both of you have been absolutely stellar A++ partners on this project. And I'm so grateful to have had the chance to work with both of you on this.
Well,
so
it's the same. We're truly honored to be a part of this, and I'm hoping this is just a huge success for you, for Children's Hospital, and whatever we can do to support you down the road, we're there for you.
No, I always feel it. Thank you.
I agree, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, so Tim is, look out, guys, TMAC Development, a new master builder on the scene. This is what I'd like to say, one to watch. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for the podcast.
Thank you.
And everybody, November 27th, you will get to see every bit of this house yourself. Thank you. Woo-woo!
I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria design office expansion. You will have to check out our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.